Welcome to the John and Rick Show. Let me do that again.
Get off
Anyway,
my lawn. Get off my
get off my
lawn.
lawn.
It's time for the John and Rick Show. The John and Rick Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show. Rick, what's on your mind today?
Man, it's today. After this, I'm doing my taxes, man.
Oh,
You
I
know
just
what I
did
like to
mine.
do is do my taxes.
I just did
Brutal,
mine.
brutal. There's nothing worse. Tell me, it's like a dentist or going to the frick doing your taxes.
I know.
I
It's
just
bad.
regret it, man. I'm just like so down.
I wouldn't mind paying taxes if they actually did something good with it.
hmm It's I don't need. It's just sort. I have a business, small business, and sorting paperwork. I put everything in a bin, just like my cards. Just I get to it later, and it's just a big pile, and it's frustrating. And I do it because my wife has no idea really, because she's not part of really what I do.
Yeah.
So I have to do it. So anyway, that's all different. I don't want to get people all pissed off that because everyone has to do it. So,
Yep.
but
What do they say? There's only two certainties in this world: death and taxes.
oh, for sure.
Death, taxes, and PSA will be able to
Screw
do
you.
whatever they want. That's a third.
Well, screw you, right? It's a scam. It's a scam. Yes, it's a scam.
All right. So
All
Team
right.
Italy. How about Team Italy?
I tell you, man. I think the actually the head coach is an ex San Francisco Giants coach. There's been a coach for years with
Sir
Dusty
Belly.
Baker and oh God, I'm not
Yeah, he
just
played for my Pirates.
yes, yes. Fantastic. He was a fantastic soccer player. He's always on once a week on our local station here. Really nice guy, and man, they're incredible.
Yeah, they're
They're
fun.
incredible.
They're fun to watch. They keep getting off to those early leads. So I had to go see if my man Vinny, if I had any of his rookie cards. So I was digging through my 2023 cards right before I came on, and I found two so far. I ran out of time. I got to go look through some more.
Very
And
cool.
these were just kind of sitting in there. I need to give them a Mag Pro Light. They
Yeah.
deserve better. They
Who's
deserve
the
better.
Who's the biggest? I've seen the scores, this and that, and I've been following. Who's the biggest player on that team? Who's the big boy on that?
Um, Probably the biggest name is Caglione, right?
Okay.
And Aaron Nola,
Oh, okay.
I would think. So my man Jeff over at a fine card collector, he had sent me some cards. He trades Mag Pro labels. So I put them in Mag Pros with his labels. So he sent me this Barry Bonds,
Oh, that's a cool label.
and that's his label. And this Scottie Pippen with a
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls label, and even did the back there.
Oh, that is cool.
And here's a Michael Jordan. It says Jordan Collection,
Oh, yes.
and on the back it has his logo
Yeah.
there. And Kyle Schwarber, he's a Chicago fan, right? This is
Okay.
the Archives rookie card, so he gave it a special label.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. And I picked up our Penguins' new goalie this year, Stuart Skinner. I picked up a Young Guns. Man, this card is so sharp, and it was so cheap. But the Penguins traded Tristan Jarry and got him. And at the beginning of the year, they were just terrible. I was joking with my friends. I'm like, are the Penguins ever going to win a game this year? Will they even win one? Because they were playing really bad. And after they got him, man, they've been playing great.
So that's all your pickups for today, huh? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I haven't been picking up much. I haven't been picking up many big cards.
So do
I
you?
have.
Go
I
ahead.
just got one. I just got one.
Hmm.
That's coming, but
Did I have I seen?
slowed way down.
I haven't seen it yet, or do I know what it is, or did you?
I don't think I showed it to you
Okay,
yet.
all right. You always nowadays you always wait to get it in your hands before you show it because you know I might snake it if it's
Right.
still on eBay or whatever, huh?
So today we're going to talk about some rare early century postcards, early 20th century postcards.
Yeah. Is can a postcard be a rookie card? That's what I want to know. You know, I don't collect.
It's a card.
It's a card, but is it a baseball card? Does it come out of a pack?
Oh, come on. You know,
No,
cards in the old days didn't all come out of packs. In fact, most of them didn't.
I thought they all came out of packs, man. They're all nationally distributed, and they had one set price, and there's one company printing them and everything. You
Yeah.
know?
If it's not tops, it can't be a rookie card. Sorry.
Yeah.
But these
Hey, so yeah,
cards existed somewhat, what, like 70 years before tops was around
yeah,
or
yeah,
making cards?
yeah. You know, I've never been. I've told you this, but I've never been a collector of postcards for whatever reason. I mean, I wouldn't mind stuff that's 10, 20 bucks, 5, 10, whatever. But to spend a lot of money on a postcard, I've just never been that kind of person,
Yeah.
just for whatever reason. And I have very few postcards. Let me just, before we get started, this is one of my few. I have the Hall of Fame plaque postcards, you know, like these things like this where the Chrissy Mathewson, you know, and
Yeah.
things like this. And but one of them that's kind of special to me is the Cracker Jack postcard, and Cracker Jack Bears here, and these were I think produced in like 1907 before the Cracker Jack cards themselves.
How was that distributed?
I don't know. But it does show the bear holding a Cracker Jack box there.
Way too big to be put in the boxes of Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, so not sure, but it's kind of interesting that. But I know
Unless
people
the
love.
original Cracker Jacks came in a big giant tin, like they used to do chips back then.
Yeah, yeah. I don't, but I know you enjoy post. Well, you enjoy any kind of card, so it doesn't
Yeah,
really matter.
postcards to me are great exhibit cards,
Yeah,
and they're among some of the rarest. I specifically love the postcards that have been mailed with somebody writing to somebody else.
yeah. So it doesn't really
I
matter the grade on those things. It's one doesn't matter
well,
for you anyway.
they're all going to grade a one because they're written on, and yeah, so grade doesn't matter at all. But you have the provenance of the original stamp on them, and then usually the postal stamp, and it's dated. Just fantastic.
Yeah. So aren't they supposed to be? But PSA is supposed to put a mark on there for the grade, isn't it? Mark because it's marked up in the back.
I think they just give them ones,
Yeah. I'm teasing.
but
I'm teasing.
which is absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I get it because you're collecting a card and it has writing on it. But I argue that an autographed vintage card is marked. I don't even know how they give it a high grade because if it has any other marking on it, they give it a one.
That's a whole different rabbit hole.
That's a whole different rabbit hole, but it can have a signature over the face and it'll be a nine.
Yeah, yeah.
It
But
should have a mark.
I know a lot of people.
If I signed it, it would get a marked. If the player signs it, the card's not damaged. It's not marked.
Oh, by the way,
And here's another thing: when cards are signed, especially with a ballpoint pen, that puts an indentation in the card. So how do you get a high grade card that's autographed? All right, let's move on.
Oh, before we get into these postcards again, checking the comments from the last one. I guess you won. People like your stickers better than mine.
Uh,
The poop sticker was the number one hit, right? So
the poop and the coal. Yeah,
yeah,
people
poop
like
and the
the coal one
coal.
too.
Get coal in your Christmas stocking, right? That was the
Right.
old school way.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But so I think you won. So we're going to start with the your labels, your stickers as the when we start our new company.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll have to talk about that off air here.
There we go. All right, so we're
All
going to
right.
do
So,
postcards, right?
yeah, which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with I think the big boy that I lost out on, the 1905, 1906 Lincoln Publishing Philadelphia Athletics. And you have a couple, I know. I don't. And the reason I don't is this little background. This, God, it's been, I can remember exactly where I was. I was in Pismo Beach here. And I text you and said, "Hey, John, have you seen these before on eBay?" And there was a bunch of them on eBay. And we kind of conversed, talked about which ones you might bid on or I bid on, and this. And I decided to go for the big boy ones. And that was the Chief Bender, the Plank, and the Connie Mack, because they were all, Connie Mack being the manager, they're just athletic players. And then you, I think, bid on a couple of the more common players, and I
No,
lost out.
I don't call them commons, man.
Uh,
Come on.
well, they're world champions, right? So I guess they're not commons. But I lost out because way too expensive. The ones I was going for, and I know you won a couple. So
Yeah, and if I'm going to get one or two of a rare set, I like to get players that have some sort of story, some sort of history in baseball. It doesn't always need to be the top players.
mhm.
And of course, trying to get a card from every set uh, makes it easier that way. I got Maurice Powers here is one of them, and this guy he had a stomach attack while playing, finished the game finished the game in agonizing pain, went to the hospital. They removed a whole portion of his intestine. It was gangrene. He had a very bad disease. And they thought he was going to recover and play again, and then he died shortly after. So, a tragic story he
Yeah,
was.
but I actually never heard of the player before you mentioning it.
Yeah. And then we have Sock Siebold.
Well, I've
And
heard of him.
Sock's, yeah, so he's from where my dad's family's from, Jeanette, PA. Wasn't born there, but he grew up there. And I always tell the story that at the end of his career, uh, and they called him Socks because he could sock the ball. At the end of his career, Connie Mack was rebuilding the A's and asked him to go down to South Carolina and pick up a player and bring him back because there was a player who didn't like the city living and kept running away and going back home to Greenville, South Carolina. And so he goes down and he grabs him and he puts him on a train and they have dinner and they go to bed. And when Sox wakes up, the player had jumped off the train and ran back to Greenville. And he had to turn around and go back and get him and take him back to Philadelphia. So I would say if it wasn't for Sock Siebold, we may never know who Shoeless Joe Jackson was.
Beautiful cards, beautiful postcards, though, huh?
Yeah, they really are. And they're in
Yeah,
suits.
yeah, that's the only
And
thing.
this is what they look like on the back.
Yeah. Now, does yours? The other one doesn't have a stamp on it or anything, right? It wasn't mailed.
No, neither one of these are mailed.
Okay, so it was a 20 card set, and of course, all athletics. And the Athletics lost the World Series to my Giants in 1905, but they were the American League champions, the Athletics, and apparently they didn't have one player that batted over 300 on the whole lineup.
Is that
But
right?
but they had pitchers, right? Eddie Plank,
Yeah.
Rube Waddell, Bender were all on that team, and Connie Mack being the manager. But I don't think the reason I asked you about the back, if it was actually mailed to someone or writing on the back, is some people think that they weren't even issued to the public at all. These
Is
cards.
that right?
Yeah. And my crack research looking to find out, now they're very rare. I mean, the ones you have probably pop or just a few, maybe 4 or 5 in the population. But the only one I've ever seen, I saw one person, his name is Richard Hopkins, and the card was mailed to him, that postcard, and it was mailed, 3 different players were mailed to him. So whoever, from across the country or whether mailed these postcards for 1 cent each to Richard Hopkins. But that's the only ones that I've seen that actually have been mailed. They're all have been blank back postcards.
Interesting.
Yeah, so some people, my little
Well, not
research,
blank back. They
well,
still
not
say
blank back,
postcard.
but no writing on the back.
Right,
No
right,
writing
right.
on the back. So and speculate that maybe they were never actually issued because there's not that many out there, and the ones that are, none of them have been
I
mailed except
wonder if
Richard
it
Hopkins.
might have been something that the team produced and just sent to suppliers or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah, yeah. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I love how so many of these sets we talk about are mysteries.
yeah. Because you would think
That's part of the fun.
you would think there would be more of them out there. Not that there, a lot of them out there, but
Yeah.
you just never see these. And you
Well,
think,
all these postcards we're going to show you don't see. I mean,
yeah.
you see them, but they're all really rare compared to the cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the 20 card set. Lincoln Publishing. I looked up Lincoln Publishing, wasn't sure. Must have been a smaller company. There's no really information on the company, obviously, in Philadelphia.
Do we even know they're from Lincoln Publishing?
Well, it doesn't say Lincoln Publishing on the label, the flip.
Well, the flip, but that's always wrong, as we've proven over and over again. That's never right. Hold on. Oh, it does say at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, it says at the bottom, Lincoln Publications of Philadelphia.
And the 3 I saw that were actually mailed to this guy, Richard Hopkins, they were mailed from Philadelphia to him. So,
well, I'm sure that's the only place they were distributed.
Yeah.
All right, what do we have next?
Okay, how about the 1909, 19 through 1916, the Max Stein postcards?
Max Stein. I only have one. These are tough, and they're beautiful. The Hannes Wagner is a dream card of mine. The Max Stein has that famous pose where he's batting.
Yeah, so they were. He was a book dealer, publisher, Max Stein, but he also produced these postcards, and not only baseball players, but did boxers. Of course, boxers. People I don't think realize how many boxing cards are actually out there, postcards. That was a big thing back in the
it was really
days.
popular. I mean, and that's one of the few sports where you can get them from the 1800s, early 1900s. Boxing is probably the second longest and biggest, most readily available sport in from that time period, along with golf. There were certainly other sports, but those were the ones where there were a lot of things produced.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. A lot of like the Churchman cards. A lot of those sets are just fantastic. You'd wish you see some of these, you go, God dang, why couldn't they make baseball card or produce baseball play? With these particular advertisements.
Back to golf. The first golf cards were. I don't know when the very first golf card was made. Oh, you know what? I think I have it. Hold on.
Okay, we're going to see how long it takes them to find it.
It'll be under 3 minutes.
12 seconds. A minute.
Got it.
Yeah, that was fast.
I think it's this. This Huntley and Palmer's.
That's cool.
You know, this is a bit. So they have. I should have grabbed it. They have the baseball too.
What's on the back of those? On the back of the card?
It is.
The checklist?
It's all their products.
Oh, okay. Advertisement.
Yeah, it's I believe a French company, and they were distributed in England. Here's the baseball one, and these are from 1878.
Okay.
1878, Rick.
I was around.
They're generic in nature. So this one celebrates baseball, and this one celebrates golf, and of course they have other sports too. I have these two. So that's probably the first. That has to be the first golf card.
Okay.
And I mean, going way back, one of, not the first, but one of the early baseball cards.
All right. Well, we learned something every day. I've never seen
All
those
right,
before.
what's next? You never saw these before?
Not well.
They're remarkably affordable, believe it or not,
Are they?
from 1878. That's insane.
So let's say you were going to both the golf one and the baseball one were on eBay right now, same condition and everything. How much more would the baseball card go for, or would it go more expensive? Would it be more expensive?
Definitely more expensive.
Okay.
But like I said, these don't sell for that much money, so maybe $100 difference. I don't know. I haven't shopped for one in a long time, but you used to be able to get these for like $250.
Huh. So on the Max Stein postcards, his store was on State Street. That means anything to anyone. South State Street, and not only boxers, prize fighters, but also dancing girls. Of course, you got to have dancing girls, right? And presidents. There were 35 cents. You can purchase 100 of them for 35 cents. And they're multiple years they were issued. And most of the photography is from the Burke photography collection with famous photographer Francis Burke. And that's one of our favorite players right there. Oh, there we go.
Yes. Buck Weaver.
Buck
And
Weaver.
I've shown this. We didn't feature it, but I showed it on another show that we did. And I love this because it's either a friend or a brother writing to his friend or brother, is saying, I guess he moved away, and saying how he misses home and he misses playing ball.
That's very cool.
And it's real cool. And of course, it has the stamp and the post office stamp there too.
It's funny too because you see those the address. It doesn't have a number or a letter.
Right.
It just has the street.
Yeah, it's like when you used to dial 9 to call somebody in the early days of telephone. And this is a cool card. It has some writing on the front too, but because it has 3 different images on it, you could see that. So here he is just standing, and then here he is throwing, presumably from third base, and here he is signing autographs in the stands, it looks like, or shaking hands in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
And he was such a great character in baseball. I've just always been fascinated with Buck Weaver. Of course, a lot of people wouldn't have known about him until, the movie 8 Men Out came out. And if it wasn't for the Black Sox scandal, I don't know. But he was a good player of the time, third baseman. And as we say, fought his banishment his entire life, and his family continued to fight afterwards. He insisted he didn't do anything. Yeah. But he was banned along with everybody else, always smiling. They have some old video of him, some old film, I should say. Now it's video, but I've seen it on YouTube, and he's just always smiling.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad, sad. All right, so let's go to the 1907. I don't know how to pronounce this. The Grignon postcards PC 775. The Bears, the Chicago
Yeah.
Cubs, but the postcards.
Yeah, so these are unique, and they have images of teddy bears on them, and every one has a different, like it's in a different pose, the teddy bear. And
Let them
these
hit
are
it.
very, very scarce. This one here is Slagle, James Slagle. It says, "Let him hit, I'm here." And it too was mailed.
Man, that writing on the back is that person writes like
Yeah.
my wife, man.
Yeah, just
Perfect
awesome.
penmanship.
And this one was sent to Portland, Oregon. So these were issued only in Chicago, only for the Cubs.
Yep. They won the World Series that year,
Yeah,
1907.
I'd like to get some more of them. Of course, the big players go for a ton of money, but I'm happy to have any at the moment. Hopefully, I can add to it.
Yeah. It says that I think it's copyright 1907 somewhere, or maybe on the back. You have Tinker Evers, Chance, Three Finger Brown on that team, which, what a fantastic team those Cubs were back then.
Yeah, for sure.
And it says 1907 copyright. They won the World Series. They probably copyright. Was it actually issued in 1907? Who knows? Because
I do not see a copyright on this.
No, you don't. Somewhere in my
No.
research came up with 1907 copyright.
Oh, wait, there's something real fine at the bottom. Let me look. Never even noticed that before. Yep, copyright 1907. There it is.
So we're not sure, copyright 1907, was it actually issued then? Well, probably maybe end of 1907, early 1908,
Yeah, I mean, it could have been later. That's when the copyright was. But probably around that time.
Yeah, and then there's some that have an advertisement for the Boston Oyster House.
Is that right?
On the back, on the back, and it actually had a advertisement and a schedule. The Cubs
now, was
schedule.
the Boston Oyster House located in Chicago?
Yeah, and on the
it was.
I think it was the Huntington Hotel. My research, Huntington Hotel.
Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry, Morrison. I look here, Morrison Hotel in Chicago, a famous hotel that's been around forever, and it was in there. And
is that still there?
I'm not sure. Not sure. Somebody in Chicago's good. A lot of things are like they say Boston this, Boston that, but they're actually from another city in the country.
Yeah.
Let him hit it. I'm here. Those are very expensive, rare cards, but very expensive cards.
Very rare. Most people, I'll bet, have never seen one. You just don't see them too often. I could say I've never seen one at a card show or the National. I've seen a few online. I ended up winning this one. I think I bid on some others, but they can go for a lot of money, the big names.
I couldn't find any information on the publishing company, the GF Grignon, or I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, couldn't find anything.
Another small company. And a lot of, like we just did the Philadelphia Athletics, a lot of these, they right after they win the World Series or right after they win the pennant, some local publishing company comes out with postcards or cards.
Yep. I've been saying as we get through these that they can go for big money and this and that. It's like I'll spend the money on cards. But I think as collectors, we all have the dilemma, do I want to spend that much on this particular card when I could get this or this or this or this or this? That's something I think we all have to struggle with is, if you could spend $2,000 on a card, which one do you want? Like, are you going to want one of these with Mordecai Brown? Or are you going to want a Hank Greenberg rookie card? Or are you going to want, I don't know, you name it. we always have to pick and
Hmm.
choose our battles, I guess. What we want for that amount of money, or maybe we want 4 cards or 10 cards for that money.
Yeah. But for something like that, I would agree that you did the correct thing. Is by just getting one, and even if it's I won't say a common player, but a at least you have one in the set, and why spend? I mean, because I'm sure the Three Finger Brown or the Ever Chance are for thousands of dollars. You got to
Yeah,
be.
so I have two of the Lincolns. I have a
Mhm.
Max Stein, and I have this one, and I have the other ones we're going to show. So they're represented as what I guess people call me a type collector
Mhm.
because I'm trying to get one
Mhm.
vintage card from every set ever issued for the rest of my life. I always say it'll probably be totally unattainable, but it sure is fun to try.
Yeah. No, those are really cool. Really cool. I wish I owned one. All right. So then we're going to go on to what do we got? How about the 1910 sepia postcards?
Sepia postcards. These are tough and they're beautiful. This is the Eddie Plank here.
Fantastic.
There's another player for my Pirates who I've been trying to get. I was watching one. It was going for $400. I watched it for a long time, but it vanished. I don't know if the seller took it down or it sold.
So that's really cool. And it's postcard back, obviously.
Yep. Now I am thrilled to have a Plank because he doesn't have that many cards. And with players that don't have a whole lot of cards, I'm kind of happy to have anything, whether it's a postcard, an exhibit card, or whatever.
Yeah. 60% of there's 25 card set. 60% of them are Hall of Famers. You have, Walter, all the big boys, Mathewson, Speaker, Cobb, Wagner, Walter Johnson. There's a combination Cobb Wagner card where both are on the postcard. We don't know who produced these. Uh, we do know that the novelty cuttery company uh, advertised their particular advertisement, and I think God, who Sammy I think has a Mathewson in that set. The same checklist and everything, but there's an advertisement for the novelty cuttery company.
Probably just like with a lot of the other sets we do, whoever owned the images or were producing these peddled them to different
Hmm.
stores and companies to promote their products, right?
Yeah, but on the novelty cuttery company, the issue the flip says 1907 to 1909, but my research shows that it couldn't have been those years, of course, because somebody did the research to say, hey, this guy's wearing a particular uniform, and the only time that uniform was produced was or they used that uniform was like 1909 or 1909. So it could have been from, those types of things. So most
Yeah,
likely,
the lesson that we've learned and we point out all the time is never trust a flip and never trust a number. You should always look at it yourself. I did a video. There is a W555. The little cutout.
yeah.
It was of. It said Brown on it, just Brown, and it has an image of a guy pitching, and they're selling it as Mordecai Brown.
Hmm.
And that's what it says on the flip. And the thing is it's Boardwalk Brown. They play for two totally different teams. The uniform wasn't right, and a quick Google search will show you the exact image they used for that card of Boardwalk Brown. Now, if you're buying that thinking it's Mordecai, Three Finger Brown, you're going to pay way more than if you're buying it if it's Boardwalk Brown, who
Hmm.
wasn't a bad pitcher, but just saying, you're going to pay more for the collectors are going to pay more for the Mordecai Brown. And so you're buying that thinking something that isn't true. So you always have to know for yourself.
And I think it was fairly obvious. Was it? He played Boardwalk, played for Washington. Is that right?
I think no, the Athletics.
Okay, Athletics. Okay. And then people try to sell it as a Mordecai Brown, and when it's not actually him.
Just like that old Babe Ruth with the swimming coach.
Yes.
Who was dressed like Babe Ruth, and they said this is Babe Ruth with a swimmer, and it was the swimming coach. Remember that card?
They still, to this day, I bet you go on eBay right now, it's going to say Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to charge you Babe Ruth.
And people will know it's not. And then there was a seller, and he was selling all these cabinet photos, and he'd be like, "This is Hannes Wagner," and he put like a question mark or something so he wasn't totally committed. But like the cabinet photos wouldn't even look like the players. They might resemble them a little bit. And he had a bunch of all kind of different players.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful. You got to research for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you that Boardwalk Brown, I mean, I found that image in no time, and I found out it was Boardwalk Brown. I didn't know it was Boardwalk Brown because I didn't know him at the time I was researching it. But just looking around, I found it in no time.
And then we have was it 1912 Boston American postcards?
Yes. Man, I got this at the National in, where was this? Oh, Cleveland. Got this at the National in Cleveland. This is Tris Speaker.
Beautiful.
Rick, were there any other players in this set?
Joe Wood.
Joe Wood's in this set?
Joe Wood Collector has one of those.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
He does. I know for a fact he does. And Robert Moranville. It was the Boston Red Sox players. 8-player checklist.
Again, a postcard back. This one was not mailed. These are super low pop, super. When I say low pop, I mean some of these ones we show are single digits, but I think this one's under 20. That's pretty darn low pop. And this is the original envelope it came in.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
I bought it with the envelope. It's like cellophane. It's one of those see-throughs. Yeah. So cool. It came in here. Now, I don't know how it was distributed. Do you? Because, I mean, this is like a see-through envelope. I doubt that they were mailed in here. So it would have come in the envelope, but I wonder, if it was mailed in another package, if these were handed out somehow, so if these were inserted in a publication, or what.
Well, I think Boston American isn't like a newspaper back then, I guess.
Yeah. So was it inserted in the newspaper?
I don't know.
Or was it handed out? We don't know.
We don't know. We
wish I could find out. It's a cool image of Tris in 1912. You don't have a lot of issues after 12. It's kind of a little lull. There's not a major sets in 13, and then Cracker Jack comes out in 14, 15. So I don't know. I've always been interested in like the 1912, 1913 cards.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So a bunch of rare postcards. For everybody watching, I hope we introduced you to something new.
Yeah.
There may be some of you that know all of these, but probably not many. I certainly didn't know all of these a few years back. I discovered them. In fact, when I went to the National in Cleveland, I had never seen one of these before. I learned about it right there and started researching it on my phone before I bought it. I'm trying to figure out what it is, what the pop is. I just fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. And when he had the original envelope with it, I was sold.
Yeah.
Dom was with me. And and Staven Sports Cards. And he's like,
Okay.
I knew as soon as he pulled out that envelope that you were buying that. Because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
These look amazing spread out here, boy. All right, Rick. This was great.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun to do the research on them and to see your postcard collection. There's so many more postcard sets out there too that we haven't even.
Oh yeah,
There's so many.
We could go on and on.
On and on.
Especially if you get into exhibits too,
Mm-hmm.
and die cut cards.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you get your photograph yet?
I have not. It hasn't been mailed yet. I'm kind of surprised.
What?
Yeah.
We talked about it last week.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's a reputable.
For a big item like that, you'd think they'd send it out right away.
I know.
What'd you spend on that? 50,000?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe? No, that's a whole different. Get off my lawn. The amount of money that's been thrown around. I know you did a video about, the affordability and this and that, and economy and this and that. It's just crazy. Some people have just throwaway money, even young people.
It's been blowing my mind the amount of money that is spent on cards, and it's like, okay, I can see somebody buys a dream card for $2,000, but they're buying 10 of them, or 20 of them, or buying multiple $10,000 cards or 15. It's just kind of blows my mind. I'll watch some cards, some big cards, maybe like 10,000, 11,000. I'll keep my eye on it, I get a nice stock that runs. Maybe
Sure.
I'll buy it or something like that. Man, they're just gone. They're just gone.
You go to the National and you see these kids. They got a roll of money in their pocket and they're throwing out. It's just because I relate to literally. Hey, Mom, can I have a quarter?
Yeah.
To the popsicle guy, the truck is outside. You run in, get a quarter for a popsicle, or
you'd help yourself to a quarter out of her purse.
Yeah, exactly. Or literally, like in the coin change thing in the car, where the cigarette used to have the cigarette, where the ashes would be the little tray, and then my parents, they didn't smoke, so they put coins in there, and I'd grab the coins, and these guys, these kids are.
Yeah, it's a whole new ball game.
I couldn't even fathom back then that this would be going on. Kids would be having this kind of money.
Well, if you think about it, pretty much, maybe aside from the Great Depression, every generation has had it better than the last, right? Yeah. Because we just keep printing money. It's like people complain about inflation, but inflation has happened forever. Like you bought a house in 1973 for $23,000. In the 1980s, it was $80,000. In the 1990s, it was $120,000, and now it's $500,000 or $1 million. Mm-hmm. But nothing goes backwards. Yeah. Does the price of cars go backwards? Nothing goes backwards. There's always going to be inflation. It's just a matter of managed inflation, going up a little more slowly. But when somebody they're on the cuff about buying a card, what do I always say? I'm like, it's just money. You'll make more in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Like there's always new money. If you have a job, you're always getting more and more money. So the key is disposable income. That's what really drives the economy, right? Is how much you have left over after bills to spend. And it's that disposable money that just went crazy during and after COVID. Because when you have dispendable money, you're going to buy a new car, you're going to buy a new house, you're going to go out to dinner, and you're going to tip those people more, and you're going to buy more clothes, and you're going to buy more baseball cards. That's disposable income. Unless you're just buying everything on credit and you're going to go bankrupt.
A lot of people are, though. I think a lot.
Yeah, like in 2008, during that crash, disposable income went out the window. Everybody's homes were, many people lost their homes or walked away from them because they had interest-only loans, and the house was worth $200,000 less than what they paid. Didn't want to make that payment. They walked away from it, and there were a lot of people that didn't have a lot of disposable income. So I remember I bought this beautiful car, and it was a Lexus ISF, all black, and I wanted this car, but it was a little more than what I wanted to pay at the time. I was down in Miami, and I went to the Lexus dealership, and they had these leftovers sitting there. They had a black one and a gray one, and they had dust all over them. Nobody was shopping, and they were getting a few new ones in, so they wanted to move these, and they were discounted like $20,000 because they couldn't move any cars at the time, and that's what. So when I see inflation, I that's a sign of a good economy, because when you're in a bad economy like 2008, you have deflation. If you recall, we had zero inflation for 15 years, and that's because uh, the economy was bad. People had to give products away or highly discounted. You could buy a car highly discounted for near zero interest, right? And lots of things were discounted. Then during COVID, I had to pay above asking for a car, right? And they weren't giving the interest only loans anymore, because now we had limited supply and people were willing to pay that. Do you remember how much used cars were selling for? It was insanity, because of the supply and demand. But people could pay for it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
inflation, in my opinion, only happens in booming times. Didn't happen during the Great Depression. Didn't happen in 2001, and it didn't happen in 2008. There's no inflation during bad times.
Yeah.
Now you could argue that the inflation causes the bad times. I could buy that.
Man, gas prices, we pay a lot in California for gas.
Well, your taxes out there are insane.
The
I don't know why
gas
they do
has
that to you
gone up
people.
a dollar since this friggin' thing, this war. I'm not kidding
Well,
you. It's $6 a gallon here.
well, you always have the highest gases in the country, and they're about to get higher. I have a feeling, because they closed the refinery out there, and now they just closed another one, and so you're going to be importing more gas.
My
So
my wife's BMW. She got a huge tank, And of course, I swear, I've mentioned this before. Every time we go somewhere on a little trip, a day trip, whatever, the tank's always empty.
is
So
that
the
right?
first thing we got to do is we got to go to the gas station and fill up. And it always pisses me off because I want to get going. I'm the type of guy, okay, we're going. But I don't want to stop 2 blocks down and fill up the gas.
Well, why don't you do what I did?
What?
Bought a Tesla.
It's true. But the problem with Teslas, though, because my son has Tesla, if you're on a big trip, you can only go so far.
Well,
Right?
the one they came out with a new long range model, because my
Mm-hmm.
wife has to go to from Charleston here to Charlotte
Mm-hmm.
every week, and they came out with a new one. It gets like 360 miles,
Okay.
which isn't that much less than a tank. And when you go to the superchargers, like, you stop and get lunch, and you charge it up. Like, they have quick charges, like 20 minutes or something like that. I
Well, there
haven't
you
done it
go.
yet. I haven't done it yet. But the only thing in a Tesla is an iPad, and you can map out your route. You put in where you want to go, and it'll tell you exactly where and when to stop and charge on your trip.
Okay.
But these new longer range, and they're going to get longer and longer and longer as we
Mm-hmm.
go here. But this satisfies us because we couldn't get them before.
Gotcha. Yeah, because my son, he doesn't have so he'll say, "Oh, I got to charge up. I got to, he
Yeah,
comes visit us, and he's got to charge up. Spends 20 minutes somewhere, walking his dog as he's charging the thing, and
yeah, and
uh,
and and some of those shorter distance ones, totally. I was never a Tesla person. I never even wanted one. But
yeah,
I'll tell you what, this thing drives itself. It'll come pick us up from the store. You come out of the store and it's raining. The car will come on its own and pick you up. It's insane. Now that I have one, I don't know.
yeah.
That's her. She mainly drives it, but we take it back and forth. Between homes, and when we go out, and road trips. So it's a pleasure to drive. It's a pleasure to be in.
But
Yeah,
so
I'm a big fan now.
it's killing filling up her tank is killing me buying cards because it's over $100 to fill up her tank. $100. Remember when I was a kid, I had one of my good friends lived next door. He was a senior. I was a freshman in high school. He drove us to school, and he'd go, "Hey Rick, you got any change?" The gas price like under $1.
Yeah,
It's like pull out some
yeah.
coins. Here's fill it up for a gallon of gas. Shit.
Well, I'll tell you, during the big spike in oil back in 2000, what was it, 2006 ish, five, right before the big collapse, oil had gone up to $145 a barrel, and gas just kept going up and up. And I had gone out when they first came out with the Nissan Armada. It was a giant SUV, and I was doing a lot of driving. And I had my friend in town, and I'm driving around, and I filled up my tank, and it was $100, which was an astronomical amount back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's still an astronomical amount. So imagine all these years later. So it was $100, and I looked at him and I said, I'm trading this in right now. And I went straight to Volkswagen dealership and bought one of the new GTIs they had come out with. Got 36 miles to the gallon. I traded it in. I don't think he thought I was serious, but I drove him straight to the dealership and I traded the damn thing in. And then I was pissed off that I filled the tank up.
Yeah. I'm just thinking as I'm pumping the gas, you know how many cards I can buy worth $125 worth of, I'm spending here on gas? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as prices go up and or income comes down, or both, you have less choices, less disposable income to spend on cards. Well, Rick, I keep talking about it. I've talked about it many, many times, and I think we're seeing some of that because everybody's selling cards in order to buy new ones, and lots of people are not buying at all until Strongsville, like where in the past they would keep buying and still go to the show. But you're seeing a lot of people that are buying less or working on binders and working on cheap sets. And I've been doing a lot of that myself. And I've been buying a lot less. And I haven't been buying the big cards I was buying.
Mm-hmm.
Or people are selling to buy new ones. And I'm of the opinion, like, I don't need to buy cards. So I don't need to sell cards I like to buy a different card. I'll just wait until I have the money and then I'll get that card. That's for me.
Sure.
I mean, doubles or stuff I don't want, maybe, but like, I could sell these all and raise some money to buy something else. But I want these and the other things I would want. So I'd rather just wait till I have the money. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been buying less.
Yeah.
And the stock market, I'm a little short the stock market, so I'm trying to keep funds available. If things continue to put more short on, because that's what I do. So I always need funds for my trading. I always need funds for my trading. Yeah. So when this stock market is uneasy, like it is right now, and you see oil prices going through the roof, and we don't know what's going on, and now we're at war and everything, it's like I don't want to spend that money yet. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens first.
I hear you. But these kids,
right, Rick.
Lastly, these kids, at the show, their parents are not around. They got this. They have no idea what's going on in the real world. They're just buying and trading and selling, man. Living a life.
Yeah, well, the thing is if things turn bad, we see signs sometimes. And if you take 2008, for instance, I knew people that were flipping homes left and right. You bought a home today, tomorrow it's up. The next day it's up even more. The next day it's up even more. And people flipping homes and trading up and trading up. And a lot of people got caught at the top. And when the ceiling finally was in, it happened so fast, nobody could react. And before you know it, boom. It's not like it's not like life gives you these warning signs, these big lights, there's a crash coming tomorrow. you don't really know until you know.
And you
Because
don't know.
there are a bunch of head fakes. There have been a lot of head fakes. You'll wake up, the Dow's down 1,000 points. 2 days later, it's back above where it was. You know what I mean? We've had a lot of head fakes over the last several years, over the last decade. Um, so you just never know until you know.
Yeah.
But I see all these people, buying less and selling in order to buy, and I wonder if that's a sign of something to come, or just a little lull, or card prices have just gone so dramatically off the charts that that's just what you have to do today.
Hey, I know we're almost at an hour here. I made a list of people who were born today. Daryl Strawberry is 63 today.
I
Dale
loved him.
Murphy, 69.
One of the
Love Dale
prettiest
Murphy.
swingings.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved him too.
Steve Finley is 60. He can really play center field, man. He was a fantastic defensive outfielder. Raul Mondesi, 54 today. He can really hit, right? Vern Law, your man Vern Law.
My man Vern Law.
Born in 1930. For those that, when we were a kid, very popular was the Indianapolis 500. Johnny Rutherford. Johnny Rutherford's birthday today.
Do you want to hear? Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to tell a funny story, and this just shows you this shows you why I grew up tough. And nowadays everybody's offended by everything, a bunch of pansies. But my dad made me tough, and so you mentioned the Indianapolis 500. Every day when I was growing up, not every day, every Indianapolis 500, he would bet me on who was going to win it. And I remember he'd be in the garage working on the car or whatever, and he'd have the radio on, and I'd be outside throwing the baseball against the wall, and we would listen to the Indianapolis 500. And out of all those cars, every year he would pick the winner every year, and I would always lose the bet, and I was so mad. And I come to find out that back then it was on delay. They aired it after it already happened, and I didn't know that. So he taught me a valuable lesson about gambling.
Same thing with a friend of mine. I
became a big gambler.
He knew the winner, and I bet him. But that was the thing, man. Johnny Rutherford, the Unser brothers, Bobby Unser was one of my favorites.
Mario Andretti, man.
Yes,
Mario Andretti. I have his cards. He was fantastic.
AJ Foyt.
AJ Foyt, yes. AJ Foyt.
I love those, man. That was something.
I gotta get an AJ Foyt card now that you mention it.
You do.
I wonder if he has any.
He must. Yeah, those are the days, man.
They were the days.
I want to go back. I want to go.
I don't know why it is. I always say it's a paradox that we have more access to watch more things today, but I see less. Like I always knew when the Indianapolis 500 was on, and I always knew all these different sporting events, wide world of sports, and you knew the racers, and you knew the top skiers, and you knew the top everybody, every sport. And now I find it so difficult to follow everything. It's like it just seems overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
But I always knew the top player in all the sports, And we had Evel Knievel growing up. I just picked up his sugar daddy card. I've been wanting that one. And did you have an Evel Knievel doll growing up?
No, but he sold everything. I mean, he promoted every.
But he had that little toy, and it came with a little winder, and you'd set it on there, and you'd wind it up, and it had a ramp. And then he had a truck. I had the truck, and he would jump over the truck and roll around, and he would go forever. And you could take him out in the dirt. And that was man. I think every kid had that toy, and the ones that didn't have it wanted it.
All right, man.
All right, Rick.
Hey,
give me your clothes.
This is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Love collecting, everyone. We gots to go.